Hi there, Scorpio. It's Jen here from tarotspirit.net doing your November 2016 tarot reading. Thanks for joining me. I'm using the Mystic Dreamer Tarot today. Let's see what sort of energies might be surrounding you guys in November. Thanks to everyone who's liked, shared, or subscribed. I appreciate it. I do have a Facebook page and an Instagram account. The Instagram is more, tends to be more personal stuff. I do tarot stuff on there, but it's QWANDS, like Queen of Wands. If you want to see some pictures of whatever, my garden, Jake, bands I like, feel free to check that out. So for some of you, just looking at what's coming out, you will be making some decisions about what you will compromise on and what you will not. What is your line in the sand? What are your boundaries for some situations? And what will you tolerate and not tolerate? Yeah. So we have the Judgment card. You're going to be making some pretty big decision about boundaries in your life. The bottom of the deck, we have the Temperance card. So this one is wanting to bring in balance. And this card sort of haunts me. It's like, yes, I know, balance, 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 balance. But I've come to terms with it a little more recently because the scales are always going back and forth trying to balance things out. They rarely stay perfectly balanced for any length of time. It's just not really possible for them to just stay. I mean, if nothing ever changed and you could control every single outside force, sure, I guess they could stay perfectly balanced, but that's not life. That's not reality. That is impossible. So we're always adding a little, taking a little bit away, experimenting, mixing and matching to try to find this balance. So balance isn't a state that you reach. It's a process. It's something that's constantly evolving and changing, and we're constantly working on. So don't get down on yourself. I decided not to get down on myself that I feel like I'm always striving for balance, because that's sort of what it's all about. And once you accept that, it doesn't become, we have to eat to survive. We don't be like, oh, I have to keep eating. I have to eat again. Actually, I had one friend, she was really, really skinny. And she used to tell me what a burden it was because she always felt hungry and she had to eat all the time. I had a hard time feeling sorry for her because if I ate all the time, I'd be very overweight. And I have to be careful what I eat. But most of us aren't like, oh, I have to keep eating. So it's like, oh, I have to keep staying balanced. It's like I've really tried to change my perspective to understand that it is. It just is, and it's okay. We just have to just continue to keep trying to work it out and not to get so stressed out about it. You do have a couple of cards in the middle, going back to that Judgment. It ends in Judgment. So the Five of Swords is conflict, and how do you deal with conflict? And people drawing lines in the sand. So you have to look, if there is a line drawn in the sand, are you guys both on the same side of the line or on opposite sides? And is it something you can compromise on, or is it an absolute deal breaker? And if it is a deal, so if you can compromise and you don't, you may feel left out or shut out. But if you it's not something you can compromise on. I will not compromise on someone who is has a really bad anger. I will never be with someone. I've done that, been there, done that. Never going to happen again. That is a deal breaker for me. Um, so if someone doesn't accept your deal breakers, don't feel left out in the cold. Feel that you have committed to what's important to you and what you will and will not tolerate. And if you make a commitment to you being in a healthy, positive environment and you've put your foot down about someone's bad behavior, well, that's good. So don't feel, don't allow someone else to feel like you're doing something wrong by putting your health and what's important to you and what you will not tolerate at the forefront. That is a good thing. And if they try to make you feel like that when you put your foot down and very clearly state what you will and will not tolerate, then I guarantee you they're an abusive person. You should get the hell away from them. That's the classic sign of someone who doesn't respect your feelings, your boundaries. When you tell them like, this behavior hurts me, this behavior makes me feel this way, and they say, oh, like, you're not allowed to feel that way. Well, you can feel however you want to feel. Big red flag. Get out. Run. But just getting clear on what you will or will not tolerate this month. Here's another way to look at it. If someone, whether it's business, a relationship, friendship, so if someone says, oh, we'll use marriage as an example. Oh, our marriage is the most important thing. And then she goes out shopping with her friends every single night and doesn't come home, or she's spending all sorts of money when you guys decided you were going to save and go on a family trip together, or he's always at the gym, or he's always getting drinks with his friends after work. Are they really committed to the relationship or not? What's going on there? This can even work in your own life. Okay, I am committed to getting healthy. I'm going to get up and go to the gym. How many mornings do you do that? Or whenever you want to go to the gym? Or do you come home and open a beer and watch TV? I'm not judging, even though the judgment card is here. But it's just saying, are you being true to what you say your priorities and your commitments are? That's what this card is really asking you to look at. And we do have a sun card, so there is going to be some sort of aha moment around this concept of boundaries and commitments and what is truly important, where you put your energy, what you will and will not tolerate. And it's going to become very clear for you about your behavior and someone else's behavior, whether, again, it's the workplace, wherever, a relationship, what really is important to them. It's where they're putting their energy. You have the Four of Cups and the Moon card, so it's going to take you a little bit to sort this out. The Moon card, another sign just had this. So I like to look at it as if you're outside at night and the moon's out. Depending on how big the moon is and where it is in the sky, it will make a shadow. And the shadow is a distorted version of the actual real object. It's not a clear picture of a clear reflection of the object. It's a distorted shadow depending on the angle and how much light there is. So something can look very distorted, and it can be difficult to ascertain what the actual object, the actual root cause, root thing is that's creating the shadow. So if you're only looking at the shadow, things can be very confusing and blown out of proportion, and it can be hard to sort out exactly what's going on. So the Knight of Swords comes in and he cuts away everything, and he will just shine a light on the truth, what the actual object. So if you're seeing this distorted shadow, he will shine a light on it and you'll be like, oh, it was just the shovel leaning up against the the house or something, but it looked like a big scary claw or a big scary monster. So that, I mean, it's obviously not a literal example, but you are going to have to look at, and that's what the sun does. Actually, the sun comes out after the moon, and you're able to see everything clearly. It takes away all the distortion that happened when you were only seeing things through the filter of the moon, through your emotions. It's the aha moment. It's the things becoming crystal clear. And that's where, once you really see things very, very clearly, you can start saying, hey, you know what, I'm not tolerating this, I'm getting rid of this, I'm giving myself a kick in the ass because I need to get to the gym, I'm not tolerating that from that person. And it's really, you're not the first sign that's had this. It's like a little bit of house cleaning, a little bit of fall cleaning, we'll call it, in the northern hemisphere, cutting away that which you don't need. It's that's unnecessary, really clearing house. Really taking some practical steps, starting a new health regimen, getting your house in order, getting your finances in order, getting your relationships. Who lives in your house? Do you want them to live in their house, or do you not want them to live in your house? If they're living in your house, what are your boundaries? What is acceptable to you? Is everyone honoring their commitments? Do you need to look at that? And by clearing all this stuff away, that's where this temperance card of striving for balance comes in. You're going to start bringing things into balance this month. So if you have had some situations, you're going to really shine a light on it and really examine the root cause, the root nature, and make some real practical decisions and move on. And just like, I'm not going to live with confusion and weirdness and people who won't compromise, or people who don't follow through on their commitments, and move on and live life not tolerating unacceptable things anymore. All right, Cupid. Woo. We send great waves of love into your heart and mind, awakening your love for life itself. Your clear decision to accept and enjoy romance has triggered this reawakening. Allow yourself to spontaneously celebrate love in all of its glorious aspects. So you do have the Lovers and the Judgment card on the table, which came to mind as I was reading this. So figuring out what your boundaries are, what you will and will not tolerate, and then open yourself for what comes in. And it looks like by making those decisions and being clear ahead of time, you can let new love, new things come into your life and feel good about how you will allow it to proceed. Does that make sense? It sounds a little like controlled, but I don't mean it that way. You'll just have very clear intentions, I guess. Oh, nice way to end that, to bring some love into it. So looks like you're going to be leaving November feeling very, very good. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely month. Take care.